everybody. It's night one of the Democratic National Convention featuring Melania Trump, speechwriter Michelle Obama, roadkill in the establishment's rearview mirror Bernie Sanders, and fading Republicans who see this as their last shot at relevance before TikToking themselves taking the QAnon pledge.
Mayors, governors, and party leaders all showed out to their living rooms, kitchens, and in John Kasich's case, the dirt road where someone tossed him off the back of a pickup.
And Bernie Sanders did his best impression of a man who was not in hell.
Here with analysis is Princeton professor on a first-name basis with several chimney sweeps, Dr. Ike Bloom.
And patron saint of wrapping your Dodge around a tree, Tyler Templeton.
And the face of every reporter layered over each other, CBS News Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett.
If you don't think we can get excited over a 2-hour infomercial about how everything sucks, you got another thing coming. Our Tuning Out Election 2020 special coverage begins right now.
From CBS All Access, this is Tuning Out the News Election 2020, the Democratic National Convention, demanding change if that's okay with everyone.
Okay, I have to say, James, I put on some spectacular broadcasts in my time, but this ranked up there with the best of my high school's morning news broadcasts.
Absolutely. I had no idea how many politicians love a nice, roomy Raymore and Flanagan 3-seater. I'm co-anchor and big-time fan of the Hawaii Five-0 reboot, James Smartwood.
And I'm co-anchor with the high-waisted brain, Kylie Weaver.
Tonight, former First Lady Michelle Obama gave us a taste of the passion and fire that you won't find anywhere on the ballot.
Over the past 4 years, a lot of people have asked me, when others are going so low, does going high still really work? My answer, going high is the only thing that works. Because when we go low, when we use those same tactics of degrading and dehumanizing others, we just become part of the ugly noise that's drowning out everything else.
That's Michelle proving that no matter how bad things might get, there's no reason to abandon a kick-ass catchphrase.
Yes, and during Michelle's plea that dignity will prevail, 7 more QAnon Republicans won primaries on the promise they'll lock up lizard pedophiles.
Always great. Now, Michelle also tore into Trump with all the fury of someone who was really hoping she wouldn't have to do this anymore.
We know that what's going on in this country is just not right. This is not who we want to be. Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is.
Okay, wow, that was an impassioned speech, and it pretty much convinced me that they were right to not close out the whole night with Kasich. Major, didn't tonight prove Michelle's point as the Democrats went high with everything except their production values?
Well, it was a little bit of AV club, but listen, the first midterm election I covered was 1990. The first presidential campaign I covered 1992. Well, the earliest lessons I learned in politics is that it's not a spectator sport, except in a pandemic, it is. And spectators like short speeches, decent production values, and short intros. They got all of that tonight.
I mean, I gotta jump in here. Michelle gave a rousing speech against Donald Trump in 2016, but he still won, everybody, remember? I mean, she should have offered an apology for dropping the ball, and it's happening again.
It's a good point. Now, I feel like it's cruel to make Michelle Obama show up every 4 years and beg us to make her country stop sucking. But as for Bernie Sanders, he checked in tonight from the shed the DNC was holding him hostage in to deliver this message to his supporters.
Many of the ideas we fought for that just a few years ago were considered radical are now mainstream. But let us be clear. If Donald Trump is reelected, all the progress we have made will be in jeopardy.
He's right. I mean, if Trump is reelected, all the progress Bernie's camp has made will be in jeopardy of having nobody to pay lip service to it.
Absolutely. Honestly, I am so impressed. Major, is this the most presidential we've seen Bernie to date, compromising his progressive values at the insistence of the Democratic Party?
Well, Bernie Sanders was at the table with Joe Biden after Joe Biden became the presumptive nominee. They have merged many of their ideas, and Biden has moved in Bernie Sanders' direction in a couple of key areas, namely climate change. So Bernie Sanders has transacted himself with Joe Biden and come out in certain respects on top.
Look, here's what we saw. Bernie was unafraid to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Donald Trump is the president Joe Biden is running against.
Too true.
Many wondered if he would go there, and he did.
Honestly, I am not gonna lie, Bernie really brought the energy down. It's kind of a bummer to be reminded of all that Trump stuff, and I'm just trying to vibe to the Kids Bop rendition of the national anthem.
Now, some Republicans spoke at the DNC in hopes this one entry on the Wikipedia page will cancel out all the heinous shit that came before it. Here's uterus conquistador John Kasich earlier tonight.
I'm running against the twins, which is both Obama and Ted Strickland, and the traditional battle that they bring on class warfare.
Think about Hillary's time as the Secretary of State.
This might be the wrong tape.
The whole world, the whole world started doubting America. Now she wants to be the commander-in-chief. Give me a break.
Fight like crazy to defund Planned Parenthood.
He accidentally played Kasich ripping on Democrats for the past his entire political career. Sorry about that, Major.
Major, that's so
here's
embarrassing.
Kasich actually speaking tonight.
I'm sure there are Republicans and independents who couldn't imagine crossing over to support a Democrat. They fear Joe may turn sharp left and leave them behind. I don't believe that, because I know the measure of the man. It's reasonable, faithful, respectful. And you know, no one pushes Joe around.
All Americans can appreciate a guy who won't advocate for change in any way. It's easier on the brain, makes more room for memorizing pastas.
Absolutely. I mean, there are just so many. And honestly, it is a smart move that Biden is trying harder to appeal to people like Kasich rather than those of us further to the left. Think about it. If Democrats expected Joe Biden to represent our interests, we would just seem desperate, right, Major?
Well, that's certainly true. I spent about 16 months on the 2016 campaign trail, about 75 or maybe 80 Trump rallies, met a lot of Trump supporters.
Here we go.
And they all said they didn't want a politician. Well, if they look at John Kasich, they'll see politician through and through. And if the Democrats want to reach softly aligned Republicans who are thinking about moving away from Trump, John Kasich's not going to get them there.
I gotta jump in here. What are we really even talking about right here? I would never trust anyone that changed. What is that? I've had the same gray boots on since I was a toddler.
He's not lying, Major.